Wednesday afternoon, and you know what that means. Ringside Heat is on the air for the first time in 2025. Happy New Year to each and every one of you. Hope you guys had a safe party, had a great time, safe and sound into 2025. I am your guest host for today, Jose Tabata. Find me on social media at Tabata93, and as always, find the show at Ringside_Heat, and as always, available wherever you get your podcasts. The first episode of the year. We hope you all had a great holiday break. We were mainly busy, found time to do some live streams here and there, but here we are now back on our regular rotation of episodes weekly on Saga 960 AM. So thank you for listening in wherever you are, and if you're listening to us during your work day, please focus on your work. So 3 members of the panel here today. Super excited. Lex, of course, by the way, unfortunately could not be here. He is suffering a sore throat, which means that I get the host again, which we all know deep down it's a blessing in disguise, but here we are. Let's introduce the panel. He's been stuck with me for the most of the holiday break. Mr. Colin Dodge at Risen72, our local charity streamer, our action figure collector, Mr. Coco Collects, Mr. Chico Nugget, and the creator, composer of oh my goodness, I forgot the name of your album. Oh no.
Outlier.
Outlier, thank you. Available wherever you get your podcast, and available in vinyl, and t-shirts are also on sale. I'm going to buy 50 copies of the vinyl because I just embarrassed myself. And my last day as host of Ringside, Mr. John Dawson at John Dawson Music, who has his Under All the Lights music video out this Friday, by the way, folks, on his YouTube channel.
Ooh.
That's right, folks. I have to edit. Gentlemen, Happy New Year.
You got to do that. Yeah.
I do got to do that, don't I? Happy New Year, gentlemen. Welcome back. How are we feeling after the holiday break?
Well, I had a call with my diabetic nurse, and she said I'm doing okay. So it must have been a decent holiday. I ate food, but I'm still alive, and it's apparently the blood test turned out okay. So we're off to a good start.
Amazing, John and Colin. Have you guys had to see nurses and or doctors?
My sister-in-law is a nurse practitioner, so not formally. Yeah.
Oh, okay, close enough. Yeah. But everybody's safe. Everybody's happy
so far.
Sure.
Did Santa treat you well?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, you know what? Hold on a second. Do I have it?
Find my house.
You couldn't find your house. Well, that's not a good thing either. Yes, Chico, you got a Bret the Hitman Hart jacket for Christmas, which is insane. Look at that, John. A Bret the Hitman Hart jacket.
Beautiful.
Yes, Chalkline. Chalkline, shout out.
Yes, Chalkline does have amazing merch. Sponsor. That is the word of 2025, folks.
My wife got me a beautiful framed copy of Outlier, which was lovely.
That's amazing.
That's sweet, man.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. My boys bought me a little coffee warmer. They said whenever I'm writing music, I can keep my coffee warm. So a lot of very thoughtful.
That is so sweet. Wow. And now I feel even worse for forgetting the name of your album, but it's okay. We were on a break.
No, you should feel terrible. This is really bad.
Yeah, I
nice
know.
Friends reference. Nice Friends reference.
Thank you. Well, folks, again, you're here for one thing and one thing only, to listen and talk about wrestling. And boy, has wrestling been busy during the holiday break, but probably nobody more busy than the WWE. And that is what our episode is going to be focused on today, folks. WWE is officially on Netflix. The Netflix era has begun with this past Monday night on Raw, which, by the way, gentlemen, I popped on my Netflix just for the heck of it, and Monday Night Raw immediately jumped to the top 10, the top TV show in Canada. In the top 10, it surpassed Squid Games as the top TV show to watch on Netflix, which is incredible, by the way. And what a Monday Night Raw. We're going to discuss our thoughts, our opinions about the whole thing. We're going to go one by one, including talking about, that moment,
legendary,
with a certain legend. We're going to get to that in the second segment. But first, gentlemen, let's go around the horn. And I want to start off with Colin, because Colin, this is your first WWE show in 2 years.
Yeah, was it 2 or 3?
2 or 3. But the last show that last WWE show that you watched on a full-time basis was before WrestleMania 38. Yes. Welcome back. Yeah. So we'll start off the conversation with you, and of course, whoever wants to interject, go right ahead. But your thoughts on the Netflix viewing experience and just in general, just what WWE is like on Netflix.
Well, I mean, I summed it up in my little banner there. My God.
It's all about
my God. So I'm used to breakneck speed and 80,000 matches in a 5-hour period to all of a sudden go to 4 matches in a 3-hour period. Whew, man, that drug on for now. It was a lot of fun seeing the wrestlers. I actually know who they are. And so that was quite a handful. A bunch of other people I had no idea, but that's fine. Rhea getting her belt, love that. I loved Rhea for the longest time, so glad to see her still on top there. Dominic, best heel in the business, so it's good to see him. Liv's there too. She's still doing great, so that's fine. Nice little surprise by Taker, so I'm always a fan of that.
Yep.
Can't go wrong there. Yeah, I mean, The Rock, that's fine. Loved everything Cena was saying. Good to see Cody. I wish she had a little bit more to do, but that's okay. I wish all of the many working wrestlers that were in the stands had more to do, but hey, whatever. But yeah, I mean, it was fun. What I saw was fun. Great to see Roman wrestling again. Paul Heyman at being Paul Heyman. So there was a lot that I missed. Never regrets. Still don't regret not watching, but yeah, a lot that I missed, and so very glad to see that stuff again. But I know this was a new thing, but I mean, 4 matches in 3 hours. Come on, that was bad. That threw me. That was the biggest throw me for the loop the most.
I don't think that's gonna happen again. I do.
No, it shouldn't. I'd be shocked if it did.
Yeah,
but if we're showing a product to a new batch of people, I know it's not only wrestling. I've known that forever, but wrestling is the vehicle for everything else that WWE also brings to the table. And there should have been more than 4 matches. Maybe 5 would have been fine. I don't know, but more than 4. To me, that was nuts.
I will say, and I think maybe John or Chico, if you could back me up, I believe there was supposed to be a 5th, which was Penta's debut. Penta is officially was announced
for Penta
for WWE. They officially revealed his name with the teaser graphics that they've been teasing.
I suspect he's the mystery that they spoke of
next week. Yeah,
against Chad Gable. So Chad Gable's gonna die essentially at this rate. If it's not the Wyatt Six, it's gonna be Penta.
Put over guy, I guess, for the new guy.
John, I want to shift my attention to you only because, again, obviously you had a different experience with your kids. This is a whole new environment for them, but I want to know your thoughts, the family thoughts on the Netflix experience, and what you saw as a whole.
Huge. Look, that Jerry Maguire had me at hello. Triple H had me at hello. I really enjoyed that promo, the intro bit he did. I really liked that he was saying things like work, shoot, heel.
Right.
I thought, and he even he talked about that in the presser later. He goes like, we don't hide what we do. Like we're done with this now. These terms have transcended the business. I thought it was brilliant. I thought the shot of the typewriter was priceless. Like I loved everything about that. Could it have been done better other on, than on the bed sheets that drop down, and to reveal them. But I like the fact he didn't come out to his theme song. I like the fact that he was just standing there.
Yeah.
So the intro was a really nice position piece for what WWE is trying to be now. It's like, we know who we are. We know where we've come from. We know what we bring to the table. We're taking you along for the ride. Triple H posted something that day, and this really struck me. There was a guy on X who tweeted how he'd been bullied for years as a wrestling fan. It was a very sad little thing he put up. Yesterday, he responded. Triple H responded. He said, "You are not nobody. You are the center of our universe." And I thought, with all that guy was doing, hopefully it was actually him, but who knows? But I thought that coming from him, that carried with me as I watched what they're doing. These guys are a powerhouse of entertainment right now. They are in the mix. They are in the conversation in a way they've never been. The show is, and I could go on about this. I won't. Colin, I love that point. I agree that perhaps more matches. There was a lot of talent that could have done a lot of things.
Oh yeah,
100%. 100%. I think that was a missed opportunity, but that's also very Triple H. I like the fact that he was consistent, at least in that end. You know, I've been to live, or many of us have been to live events since he's taken over. That's his style. You know, you'll get 3 matches in an hour and a half, and they'll take their time. So I do like that he's presenting the type of product that he's leaning towards. Having said that, it was incongruous with the fact that everything else seemed to be a kind of, flashbang moment. This was not the final boss that showed up. This was a guy on the board of directors.
Yep.
This was Dwayne Johnson. This was not the final boss. So yeah, Cody in the stands, that I didn't understand. That was one that I was just like, no, that one didn't work. That didn't work for me at all. However, I thought about it. I'm like, maybe they're just trying to protect. I don't know, man. Maybe because he's still essentially kind of SmackDown related. So I don't know. They're protecting the Raw brand. I don't really know what they were doing there. Look, man, it was Raw on Netflix. Like, that was a convergence of worlds I never would have called. And I don't think it's going to be the same going forward. I'm really curious. I don't think you can judge Raw's performance on Netflix based on that. That was
not on one episode. Yeah.
No, but even that particular construction of the episode, you're not going to get Cena and Rock every week. You're not going to get the callbacks. You're not going to get this. You're going to get WWE. So Triple H's pacing, I think, at least foreshadowed the fact that this is what you're in for. Mm-hmm. You're not in for Attitude Era pop fests. You're not in for nostalgia. You're gonna get matches. So I thought he balanced it well overall. But it really remains to see what they do going forward. This is huge, man. Like, there's no other way to argue it. This is huge. Not one buffering issue.
No.
That in and of itself tells me that there were a lot of conversations happening about like this Tyson Paul thing, guys. Like that was our, know what I mean? Like, you got to fix this. Yeah. You got to fix this. So I think overall was a success. Look, man, this would have been a treat for any casual fan who has even had half an ear to the ground for the last 25 years. It would be like, oh my God, look who it is. Look who it is. Look who it is. But sure, are there more things that need to happen? 100%. I think it was a massive win. I really do. With one glaring exception.
Ringside here at Newstalk Saga 960 AM. We're going to dive deeper into those thoughts after the commercial break. Because we do got to go to break. When we come back, Chico has some thoughts that he wants to expand on with what John said about The Rock and Cody Rhodes, which, to be honest, that was also my thought as well as the night was going along. So sit back, hang tight. We'll catch you after the break. This is Ringside Heat on Newstalk Saga 960. Saga 960 AM. I am your guest host, Jose Tabata. You can find the show at Ringside_Heat here with most of the ring crew: Colin Dodge, Chico and Ugid, John Dawson. And before we went to break, during segment one, John was talking about the experience and the ride that we're about to go. We're about to strap into for Monday Night Raw. Colin was talking about his return to WWE and how excited he is. Wishing that things were maybe a little bit better paced. Chico had the same thought as me, and I want Chico to take over and share my thoughts at the same time. Chico, you were bugged in a sense, and this is, I guess, one of the first criticisms that we're going to have of Monday Night Raw on Netflix, and it felt like a lot of kayfabe, a lot of storylines suddenly met their end this past Monday on Netflix. Chico?
I'd say for better and for worse. There are things that felt like a satisfying payoff, and there were moments where it was very puzzling and very confusing, kind of for me severely disappointing. And I'll take the latter one and say that applies to Cody and The Rock for me. So Cody and The Rock, where do I even start? There's so many things. They did stuff both during the episode and on social media immediately thereafter that took me out of kayfabe, and I like my kayfabe. This is sports entertainment. I'm old school like the Undertaker is.
There's a coffee bug in that, bro. I like my kayfabe. You gotta
like my kayfabe, like I like my coffee.
I like my
like I like oxygen or something. I don't know.
There's something there. There's something there.
Call the merch department.
Yeah, merch.
ProWrestlingTees.com.
Yeah. So I mean, it frustrated me to a point where, yes, the whole show is fun. I will agree with Jose and everybody else and say, and John too, and I guess part of what Colin was saying, it is primarily a success. Yes, there were pacing issues, but for me, the thing that stood out the most was The Rock and Cody. The Rock came in there, and yes, it was pretty much board of director member Dwayne, glad handing everybody and doing the catchphrases. It was a lot shinier than the last handful of times that he showed up. He even did kayfabe at the Hall of Fame. Okay, he did some of that at the Hall of Fame. That was less kayfabe, but not the total abandonment of it and stepping on the plot that they've been expanding on for months. How do I mean? Well, when he addressed Cody from the ring to the crowd during the show, he kind of little broed him and say, but he gave him credit for, thanks for carrying the company, buddy. But no entrance for Cody, just a quick that was weird. Camera shot. It was, to me, severely underrepresenting the undisputed, whatever, quote unquote, WWE champion. And the fact that they got along so darn well just negates the Raw after Mania and the mystery of what did The Rock put in Cody's hand. I'm going to let Jose deal with the bad blood thing because I actually didn't see that in the moment. But it also negates that from what I understand. And even, okay, I'll take it further. We'll extend this later, but The Rock crowning Roman Reigns and that ending cleanly.
Oh, he should absolutely rock bottomed him right there.
Yeah,
that's what we were calling for, Jose.
Yeah.
And I,
yes. So all of that, and I'd say like 60% The Rock, 40% Cody. I was disappointed in the main stuff. Mind you, having been about 12 or so or 20 hours removed from it, I understand that I think this was a gigantic infomercial for WWE.
100%.
Lots of vignettes, not many matches, but there were some, and there were some really good ones. So it was a real showcase of stuff that they have, but yeah, primarily infomercial was the feel I got. And also screw all the stuff that happened before. This is ground zero. That's what it felt like.
It's like the new 52 of WWE.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The demarcation line. Even those horrible ref shirts. All right, Jose, back to you.
Ringside Heat, a new stock saga at 6 a.m. We're talking about Monday Night Raw's debut. Jose Tabata, Colin Dodge, Chico Nugget, John Dawson. The bad blood moment that Chico was referring to was at the end of the Bad Blood pay-per-view with the Roman and Cody tag team against Solo and Jacob. Was after Roman and Cody won that tag match, The Rock made a surprise appearance, came out with his little belt, and signaled 1, 2, 3 to both of them. Now that could have been the moment when Cody pinned Roman. Could have been that from night 2 at WrestleMania, or it could have been the moment of night 1 at WrestleMania Philadelphia last year with The Rock pinning Cody 1, 2, 3. And honestly, I think, yes, the big infomercial, and I think this is where we can kind of deviate away a little bit because we're obviously talking about the future WWE. The road to WrestleMania is just about to begin. We're just a few weeks away from the Royal Rumble from Indianapolis, February 1st. And there were seeing reports saying that WWE is getting ready. They're preparing their storylines and WrestleMania without The Rock. And if they just suddenly decided to halt and stop their and stop the storyline, stop the mystery of what did Cody get in his hand, or what about bloodline versus bloodline again with The Rock and Roman Reigns, it means we don't get The Rock in a fighting capacity in Las Vegas, which after all that, especially after how last year ended, how last year started with The Rock coming in to take Cody's spot, blah, 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 blah. It feels like we're going to be left empty-handed after all that we complained. Because I remember the episode that John and I had complaining about that Rock moment. I remember talking with Chico about well we gotta wait and see, because we gotta wait to see how the story unfolds. I remember ranting for 3 weeks on Ringside Heat last January and February. I don't get it, gentlemen. I'll open up the floor to you guys again. So that's it. No Rock, no Dwayne in Vegas.
I don't see that happening at all. I think that's a swerve.
You think it's a swerve?
Oh, so you do see The Rock showing up in Vegas?
100%. But I don't think they're going to telegraph it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You think they're
How
gonna?
do you have any theories? Like at least a quick one, because I'm scratching my head here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. I can't game it out, but
Right.
it just seems to me that there are plenty of. I mean, there's not a ton of opportunities between Royal Rumble and Mania, but there are opportunities for him to show up and gum up the works. I don't think that looked like a bow out of The Rock, but he's said things online where it's been like, I'm coming home. I just feel like this is almost The Rock's quiet final run like Cena. I just don't think this is over. I don't.
Okay. Let me bounce off of that.
Chico, let me just say, if not now, when? Right? Like he has no need to come back. He has no need to keep returning. He is perfectly grafted into a storyline. If not now, when? The table is set. It's a waste of an opportunity. And the guy's got a literal vested interest in this.
Yes.
So I just don't see it, man. I think that's a swerve.
Okay. I think that this is one of the things that I was thinking about today before we started shooting or recording this. Maybe the Cena farewell tour they're just giving it more space to breathe, and then just planning things around that, as opposed to having two very iconic guys in Cena and The Rock concurrently having builds to at least WrestleMania, maybe the whole year. Like maybe they're trying to just not give everybody the entire banquet, and maybe Cena's year, and then Rock comes back and ramps something up. But okay, hold on. Before I end that point, I just wanted to say
I actually don't mind
that. They can do all of that stuff, but they didn't have to kill Rock and Cody. They didn't even have to kill
Chico,
Rock
I'll
and
be
Roman.
honest, I don't think they did. I think we know enough about The Rock that if there's anybody who can relight that candle, who can get that burner on again, it's him. Like this, I think you have to separate everything that's about to happen from everything that did happen last night. Like you nailed it. It was an infomercial. They needed Cousin Dewey to show up and be corporate Dewey and do his bit and be The Rock everybody loves. Man, that guy can swerve on a dime. We all know that.
He can. He can. My concern is, let's say it is a swerve. It depends on what the other programs are and how deep they're into it, because you don't want what happened last year again, where The Rock suddenly just comes in out of nowhere. Okay, you're done. My turn before another outward begins. That's my concern is, I think, again, judging and knowing The Rock as well, he loves his stories. He does. He loves his stories. Even if he tries to meddle in, but he loves his stories. I'm worried that even if there was something, to me, it kind of feels like, at least last night, at least for 2025, at least like this past Monday night on Raw, to me, it felt like he just shut the door completely on all of it. and nothing's gonna be imminent. Could it be a swerve? I can't believe I'm saying this after what I said last year. I hope so, but right now,
that's
I'm
not
just,
my takeaway. Sorry, that's
yeah,
not
but
my takeaway.
right now, I'm just worried at if there is something for Vegas, if something is in the works this whole time, how do you interject? But again, I remember saying this last year when The Rock showed up to replace Cody, and then I was quickly corrected 2 weeks later. But I will say, if Chico or Colin want to add thoughts, the one thing I do want to say is I think also because you had all those fans, from many years ago coming back to see what it's like now on Netflix, you also I think you would have done a service to them if you also showed The Rock giving a rock bottom to Roman at least.
100%.
And because you give them that memory of The Rock,
100%.
I think it would have been perfect. Chico or Colin, anything else to add on?
Well, I'll say I honestly don't even think it's all that complicated. Triple H opened the show by telling us exactly what's going to happen is that work, shoots, all that's transcended now. Doesn't matter anymore. There's no kayfabe according to that. So, and then honestly, even aside from that, we definitely know Triple H is smart enough to plan both outcomes.
Yeah.
So maybe something happens, Rock gets busy by the time Mania rolls around. That could definitely happen. He has whole other careers and machines that he's in charge of, right? So was it $10 or $7 productions and all that stuff? Like he's got whole other empires going on. He could very well just be too busy. So you prove your point of kayfabe and shoot is not a thing anymore. So you use the two biggest stories, one of the two biggest stories on the card for the last year to convey that message. So that's Rock and Cody are best buds now, sharing a drink.
Yeah, that won't last.
No, of course not. But just in case you're putting it in there, in case Rock can't be there, but it's The Rock. He can walk into anything if he's available, should he want to, should Triple H deem it's necessary, and will help sell Mania. So it's just preparing for both outcomes. That's all.
Well, my thought on that is I'm gonna double down on what Jose said here. I really don't think that The Rock's gonna show up at Mania. I mean, that is the rumor. I think he's shooting the live action version of Moana 1 this year, so that might get in the way. This is just me estimating because I have heard that they are currently doing that. I just don't know if they've already finished principal shooting, but anyway. So that could be a factor. He could need to make space in his schedule to not do WrestleMania. Now, my prediction then, because of how things got kind of pivoted last night, in my opinion, it's going to be Cody versus Randy at Mania, and then Roman versus Punk.
Ooh, I like that a lot. Both of those.
That's me just lightly fantasy booking for Mania.
Well, here's my out of reach prediction, which we can close off our segment with this. I do think Roman Punk. I do think that. Then the favor of Paul Heyman comes into play. My other potential prediction, if it's not The Rock, and I cannot believe I'm going to say this, and I think it's going to accidentally open up a whole can of worms. You have your second ever 3-time Royal Rumble winner, and John Cena is the one to take on Cody.
Yeah, I don't think that's a stretch.
Everybody wants, and this is why I want to save the last 5 minutes for this because we still have time. Everybody wants 17. There is nobody in this. I think we've reached that point in our Cena fandom where we went from, hey, we have it. This up and covers a champion to, I hate this guy. I'm tired of Super Cena to back to what we started with. We're back to ground. We're back to our starting point. Everybody wants it. The pop that he got when he said, I'm entering the Royal Rumble was huge. And I see it. I think it's weird because we know Cena has a history of wanting to always put people over, and he's brought up how he's on a losing streak. I think like he hasn't won in 3 years, I think, or something. He hasn't won a match in 3 years or something like that.
Long time.
See what happens when I stop watching?
I hate to see it, but
Corbin.
Oh
wait, wrong guy.
I really do see John Cena winning this Rumble. I can't believe I'm saying that. I don't know if I want it, but damn it, I also want 17. But I don't know, gentlemen, your thoughts on this? Like I do see Cena winning that Rumble.
I think given this Cena, this grafting on this Cena final tour story, Cody dropping to Cena, sounds very good to me.
I'm okay with that.
I will steal Steve, our brother Steve Piccone here. He felt we were talking the other night. He's like, Cena heel turn in the match. Go out as heel Cena. Go in face to face, but can he do it?
I mean, he's wanted to.
If he's wearing his chain, that's what's going to happen.
Bring back the doctor. Now, I don't think it
yeah.
will. I don't think it will. If he wins 17, that roof's going to blow off the place. So,
selfishly, I don't want Cena to win the Rumble. I want him to win an Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, that was my next point.
Yeah,
selfishly, because we will be there.
Yes. We'll be there.
You will.
Oh.
John will be with us in spirit. Yes,
that's the spirit.
But
very spirit.
Unless I'm on media, I don't know. But
we can do the live stream.
I could.
I was hoping to
working on SmackDown plans. I don't know.
Yes.
Okay.
SmackDown was announced for Toronto the night before Elimination Chamber, February 28th, and of course Elimination Chamber at the Rogers Center, first show since WrestleMania 18, March 1st. Chico, continue. Sorry, just wanted to put that up for our Toronto listeners.
No, and just a random offshoot of Elimination Chamber is. You know how popcorn buckets have been a thing lately at theaters, like novelty popcorn buckets? I wouldn't mind an Elimination Chamber one.
Careful.
That doesn't make sense, but it just went in my head because of the Gladiator one.
Well, not just that, but if you have like let's say like an actual replica Elimination Chamber popcorn bucket, everything falls out.
Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah, well, yeah. There's
you open it, you close it from the top. I don't know. It's a fun game. Anyway, selfishly, I want the victory for Cena in terms of a number one contendership to be in Toronto because of our attendance there. But with John's suggestion, I would not mind that Cena in the Rumble, Cena at Mania taking it from Cody. I think Cody can always get it back in SummerSlam. I mean, sure,
Cody
something
needs a break, man.
But give him a break at some point.
Yeah.
He's not gonna have the 5-year reign.
Let him go listen to Under All the Lights for a couple months. And,
there you go.
A music video out this Friday, Under All the Lights, on John Dawson's YouTube channel. Yeah, it's like I know everybody's starting to turn on Cody, which is frustrating because this happens with every WWE champion. Like they hold on for for a week, and then it's like, grr, how dare you? I'm tired of the reign. blah 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 blah. And I know people are gonna be upset. I know people are gonna be upset. Into my opinion, when Cody beats Kevin Owens in that ladder match at the Rumble. I think as well, like being Cena to want to dethrone Cody, I think also makes sense because then Cena can pivot his retirement tour, his farewell tour, to putting somebody new over, and Cena would be willing to do that. Who would that be?
100%.
I have no idea, but I think Cena. My point is, I think Cena has to stop. I think Cena has to stop like kind of like ignoring the facts and kind of stop trying to be like the humble one to put people over. People want this. I want it. I want to see Cena have like be back at the top of the mountain again. You tell me this
one
in
more
2008,
time.
I would say you're crazy. Right into 2010s, I say you're crazy. Now I will memorize John Cena's rap lyrics to The Time Is Now and rap it at the Elimination Chamber.
I know we got to go to break, but look, he's playing it great. He's coming in quiet. He's coming in like a lamb, and he'll go out like a lion. You know what I mean? Like he's I love the way he handled that promo. I thought that was wonderful. That was some excellent work.
Yeah,
and I think he's gonna dominate, and I think the WWE will just part the seas for this one last moment to let this guy who did carry that company through some very, very lean times, give him that. That Colin, man deserves it.
Colin, your last thought. Do you have the last thought before break?
Just keep Jon Stewart out of the building. That's all.
Oh my God.
What a waste. What a waste.
Oh my God. When we come back.
Welcome back.
When we come back, we are talking about that specific real American that once told us to say our prayers and eat our vitamins, and the reaction he got from the Los Angeles crowd. This is Ringside Heat on News Talk Saga 960 AM. We'll be back. welcome back to Ringside Heat here on New Sock Saga 960 AM. I am your guest host for today, Jose Tabata. You can find me on social media at Tabata93. Follow the show at Ringside_Heat, and of course, wherever you get your podcasts. Joined by three of my finest friends here, Mr. Colin Dodge at Ritson72, Chico Nugget at Coco Collects, and Mr. John Dawson at John Dawson Music. Look out for his music video, Under All the Lights, this Friday on YouTube. Well, fellas, as we come to that point of the show where we couldn't ignore it. How do I know we couldn't have ignored this topic? Because it's hit mainstream media. That's how big this topic was. It's again, like it was brought to my attention at work, for crying out loud, which is a miracle. But for those that do not know, if you haven't heard by now, a couple days removed from the Raw's debut on Netflix, Hulk Hogan, WWE Hall of Famer Hulk Hogan, the man that everybody adored in the 80s and the 90s, was booed out of the building. Was booed out of the building by the fans inside the Intuit Dome. He was there to promote his new beer, Real American Beer, which is now a sponsor of WWE, which was on the ring mat, by the way. And we didn't really talk about that, how the mat is now a different color, but is now filled with sponsors such as Real American, a sponsor from Saudi, Fortnite, Dead Center, which is really funny. Of all games, that's the game. But he was there to promote his beer, and the fans would not let him talk, essentially. He did his famous catchphrase, well, let me tell you something, brother. And the fans kept booing and booing and booing until you can tell that he just quickly cut it short and just walked out. Did I ever think we'd see the day? No. And all I can think about is the day that, again, when I was 7 and I was watching WrestleMania 18 for the first time, and I saw The Rock versus Hulk Hogan, and how excited I was that these two larger-than-life titans were being cheered on by everybody in Toronto. And then when I was at WrestleMania 35, when Hogan surprised everybody to open up the show and everybody was cheering, I was even singing his theme song, and I'm not even American. And here we are now, all these years later, and it's a 180. Now, of course, this could stem from a lot of reasons, and we're not going to turn this political because that's not who we are here at Ringside Heat. And I think it's very important to share that yes, everybody has their views, and we respect everybody's views, no matter what. It's it's their belief. People were using his views as a fuel for it. And then people quickly said, "Well, no, because the Undertaker was cheered," which again, territory that I really want to enter. I'm just calling what I am. I'm just sharing what I'm seeing. I'm doing a play here essentially. And then people were booing because of his past controversies with racism and also his backstage politics as well. And maybe everything just come into frame and it just maybe blown up until now. I don't know how else I can frame this without being potentially biased or without like trying to steer a conversation in a way that I want it. Like I said, I'm just calling what I see here. And what I saw this past Monday night was just, well, I couldn't believe it. I could not believe what I was seeing, whether good or bad. I was sitting in my seat reacting on YouTube, and I'm going, wow. And Colin, you were there. So I'll hold off on you, Colin, because I do want to get to the reaction of John and Chico because, they weren't at the live stream with us. So John, I do want to start out with you on this because I think you were telling us as well that you were just stunned and even having talking to your kids about what was going on.
Sure. It was shocking to see. First of all, to the sponsorship piece, as a Formula One fan, sponsorship doesn't really scandalize me. I mean, these guys are plastered with stuff on every inch of their body, on their cars.
Yeah.
That doesn't really bother me. I took, sure, I'm going to maybe apply Occam's razor to this a little bit. The simplest answer is often the best. I think what really happened here, because you do have to juxtapose the Taker reaction with the Hogan. What was the differential? The differential is that Taker was there in the service of WWE and its future. Hogan was there in the service of himself.
That's a massive point that I have not seen anybody made. That's very true.
Great point.
So I really think a lot of this was just about like, dude, it was so ham-fisted. We know you're coming out because your stuff's all over the ring. You're not here for us. You're here for you.
For yourself.
I really think that is something that can't be ignored in the subtext of that reaction. You cannot simply boil it down to partisan politics, because as we know, we've been to these events. There's no way every single person in that building was from LA.
Yeah.
There's no way they were all registered Democrats. There's just
Also fair.
sorry to go there.
No,
but
it's understandable. Yeah.
There's just no way. So to me, immediately, I'm like, the reaction is something else. And to me, it just, Hogan was blatantly self-serving, blatantly there to promote a product, and people simply rejected it. Even The Rock wasn't out to promote a movie. For all we complain about him, or Terramana, sure, he did it on social media later, but he was there for that event. There was everybody was showing up to promote the thing. He was that black sheep, and he was there in business for himself. I just don't think people wanted that bubble burst that night. To me, that was at the heart of that reaction. And to that end, well deserved.
Yeah.
Why else would you be there? So that's my takeaway. And I'll say this, last thing.
Go ahead.
Easy thing to do if you want to keep using Hulk Hogan, throw him in the black and white again. This is no problem.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy, yeah.
He's getting booed anyway.
This is not a problem.
Chico.
I'm going to say, John, thank you for that perspective, because
I agree. Yes, thank you.
I mean, it really could be as simple as stop soliciting.
Yeah.
We already see it on the corners of the mat. Yeah, that might be something.
Yeah.
I'm not a Formula One or racing fan at the moment anyway, and so the sponsorship stuff does annoy me. I'm a bit more of a purist with the mat. Didn't like the Prime being there. Glad it's gone, but then suddenly there's 5 other stickers. So I don't like it. I was also shocked, though, that Hogan was booed that massively, just because everything outside of the wrestling sphere happens. And then when it's WWE, seemingly at least 75-25, Hogan seems to get away with something, but not on Monday night. And that was crazy. That's about as overwhelming as when they cheered him in Toronto. So it's like a anti-Bizarro or something. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, 180 is a pretty good number there, Jose. It stunned me a little bit. My jaw was kind of to the ground because, again, people have their leanings. They have their political stuff. I mean, he's tried to make reparations on the race stuff. Don't think that's all out of the way yet. And making amends takes forever, the rest of his life. So I thought maybe we had gotten far enough away from that where people wouldn't be bothered by that part. But it could be the beer.
Colin, you were, during our live stream, you were laughing along. Laughing along. I was kind of there in disbelief saying, holy crap, but you were laughing and almost enjoying it in a sense.
I was highly amused. Yeah, sure. I'm perhaps broken that way, but no, I was highly amused. Before all of the current Hogan stuff, or in the last 10 years or whatever, as a little kid, I had already started to kind of be tired of Hogan because I wasn't able to get pay-per-views then. And so when he started only doing promos on TV on Saturday morning and Saturday night's main events, he always had the title, but he was never wrestling. And so I started paying attention to everybody else who was wrestling. So 18-year-old Shawn and Brett, and then there's Macho Man and the still incredible mid-card, those who I was watching. So even then I was like, Hogan, whatever. And then of course 1990 rolls around, Taker shows up, and then that's the end all and be all for me anyway. So don't need to go hash that. So with all this with Hogan, it was just like, yeah, okay, fine, great, he's here. I understand how important maybe the term was to the industry. It's not mainstream without him. I completely understand that. Mm-hmm. So, and there's no way to undo that. I don't even think that needs to be undone. But, I always think of course, the greats, Dark Knight line, live long enough to become the villain. So maybe that's what's happening now too. And so anyway, that stuff, it tickled me. And then especially later, and and Johnny's point is absolutely correct. When Taker came out, who may also share very many of the same political views as Hogan, was absolutely adored. But Johnny's right; he was there in the service to support Rhea Ripley, who is a current star of the new / current product going forward on Netflix. So that makes sense. As for the advertising, even before loving F1 racing, I watched a lot of UFC, and you can't run into any corner of a match or a promo or a tail of the tape without at least 5 ads. So ads don't bother me at all. So I get it. You're making money. So yeah, the ads didn't bother me. I thought Fortnite was cute. I'm like, wow, Fortnite is truly unstoppable. I think Big 2 and Grand Theft Auto need to start paying attention to the juggernaut that Fortnite actually is. Yeah, so I mean, that's all it was. It was just, to me, it was more Hogan being Hogan, and I was really happy. Kind of people finally letting him know I can't always get away with stuff. Nice to see a little bit of consequence, I guess. But yeah, I'm sure there was lawyers in the back going, how much do we have to stay with this real American beer deal?
What's the sunset clause here? Yeah.
And then, of course, my favorite meme, joke, GIF, whatever these kids call it on the internet, was, of course, a Simpsons reference where Jimmy Hart was quoted as saying, "Oh no, they were saying boo ruther." Boo
ruther. Yeah, love that one too.
So yeah, I mean, I guess I wasn't surprised, but oh yeah, I mean, I cackled like an idiot. It's on stream. You can go watch it on YouTube. Yeah, it was fun. I had fun.
Can I just add one thing? Can I just add one thing before Jose again? Hogan used to be my number one before Brett strong-armed that away and showed me more of what wrestling actually is. So Hogan used to be my childhood. Like, I didn't train, but I said the prayers, took my vitamins. So 2 out of 3. But I can't believe I'm saying this. I wouldn't be bothered if we never see Hogan televised again.
Yeah, agreed.
And that is exactly what I was going to say, Chico. You're in my. We've been synced up this week. This is what we call a miracle, folks. That's what I was gonna say, and that kind of crept into my mind a little bit. I'm like, is this the last time we see Hulk? I went to that. My mind went there. Is this the last time we see Hulk Hogan? And even then, I felt weird to say because, like Colin said, right? Hulk Hogan put WWE on the mat. I am not a WrestleMania fan if it's not for Hogan, or I do not get to explore and enjoy WrestleMania if it wasn't for what he did for WrestleMania 1 and then those first few Manias, right? And look, again, like I think 100% keep him off TV. Is it forever? I don't know.
I'm going to say too,
in a sense, kind of.
We don't need him anymore. He's done everything he's needed to. Everything, including nostalgia and heel stuff and screwing up the Triple H versus Sting match. Sorry, but so he's done everything already.
The time compression is amazing. When you start to look at bringing a guy like Hogan out in Hogan's era, that would have been like bringing somebody out from the 1940s.
Yeah,
right. Like John. Well, no, but put it in perspective. Like there's just no need anymore.
No,
like he's done.
Leave the memories
and that's
alone.
Fine. Leave the memories alone. Unfortunately, that's the epilogue on this Hogan story, is that booing. But at the end of the day, look, man, he went out on his back. Perfect.
He has his imprint in wrestling history. But yes, it's we're in a very new era, and Triple H referenced that heavily to open up Monday Night Raw. And really quickly before we do wrap up, because I am just about to wrap up the show here, I felt bad for Jimmy Hart.
Thank you for saying that. That was to me the real collateral damage there.
Yeah, because Jimmy Hart just stood there
sweetheart.
He stood there with the American flag. He's like, yeah, you get him, Hulkster, and he's just doing his gimmick. 81 years old, folks. I believe I heard that Jimmy Hart's 81 years old. God bless him. Still looking as young as ever, but it's unfortunate. And again, I hope that Jimmy understands that. Yeah, he was just caught in the line of fire, unfortunately. So no, it was great to see Jimmy Hart. That was kind of cool. But then behind. But yes, if this is it for Hogan, well, maybe not the ideal way to go out, but we carry on and we usher in this new era. And that will do it for us, folks, on Ringside. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining me today. It was a lot of fun hosting the first episode of 2025. I believe I lose this privilege. Sorry, hold on. Oh, next week, with Lex returning, assuming that his voice gets significantly better. At Risen72, Mr. Colin Dodge, he's ready to open up a brand new campaign for sick kids and Extra Life. So please look out for that. Mr. Chico Nougat at Coco Colex is hoping to win another authentic ring scale from some action figure collector, right, Chico?
Ringside Collectibles, was it?
Thank you. That's what I was looking for. Yes. Okay. Yes. So Chico, good luck with that. And of course, if you're watching this on Friday, folks, please immediately, right after this, immediately go over to John Dawson's YouTube channel, where Under All the Lights and the behind the scenes, essentially, of like what it was like being in the recording studio. I just happened to waltz in there and record a lot of footage of them just doing the whole process. That's your music video, folks. So if you're just wrapping up this episode on YouTube, head on over to his channel and watch Under All the Lights. And again, it's a great song for Cody and Brandy at John Dawson Music, Mr. John Dawson. Of course, I'm Jose Tabata. Find me on social media at Tabata93. Follow the show at Ringside_Heat, wherever you get your podcasts. This is Ringside Heat. We remember the things we want to forget. Good night, everybody.